Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Welcome back to everybody out there for what we're calling, we got it right here. This is our 14th season.
14th season.
Longest running show in RCTV history, has to be, right?
How long was Seinfeld run?
I don't think 14 years. I think
Yeah.
we could be in the longest I wonder how many people out there, love to get some, poll from the audience. How many people have watched an episode, we're not going crazy, from all 14 seasons?
Ooh. Can we get that up on RCTV's homepage?
Yeah, maybe.
Poll?
Yeah. I saw a lot
Tweet
of
that
polls.
out.
I've seen a lot of polls on Springford Instagram recently. Hey, how many of you have watched this episode of the Gridiron? So,
Yeah.
Coach, great to be back here in the studio. We're here in the stadium as always. Here, how was the summer?
Good. We had a good summer. We obviously work out 3 times a week during the summer. We went to team camp at East Stroudsburg. We went to 7-on-7 day at Penn State. We had a busy summer. It seemed like just yesterday school was over.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're about to get back into it.
Ready to start the next school year. And we always here's where you see all the previews, a lot of stuff in the media talking about this team. And obviously we lost a lot of important pieces from last year's team. But there's a lot of guys back for this team. Guys that made major contributions. I would say, from what I'm reading, the expectations are pretty high for this year's team.
Sure. I mean, we always have high expectations, and, we try to, as a coaching staff, if we have, coaching is about accentuating, your positives or your, the good check marks.
Yeah.
And trying to minimize the places that, you're maybe not as good as you were the previous year or whatever.
Right.
So, we feel really good about this team. We have some major pieces back at different positions, and we're raring to go.
Yeah, and obviously at the top of that list has to be your junior quarterback, Matt Zollers, all area, all pack, all of those things right here. And he's back. He got some time as a freshman. He was your full-time guy as a sophomore, and the expectations couldn't be higher for him and what he can bring to this team.
Yeah, I mean, on offense, everything's going to run through Matt. As you get older as a quarterback, the game slows down. You hear that a lot, and it's certainly true. The things, if you're worried about, when you're younger and you're just worried about executing the play right, then some of those other things don't happen. But if you're experienced enough where the play's like riding a bicycle, then there's other things that you can do off of that. And we're certainly going to give him some more rope as a junior to get into different plays and audible and things like that. So we're excited about Matt. There was a play during the scrimmage. We're going to show some highlights in a little bit where Matt was like, Coach. I was like, I got it. Called a play. Matt was like, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So, being around each other for all this time and being involved like you said, as a freshman.
Yep.
Getting half the snaps as a freshman, essentially. And then all the snaps last year, that's a long time to be together, and we have 2 more years. So
those that have watched the show, we talk a lot about quarterback here, and we also talk a lot about the offense and defensive line here a lot about in the show here. And that's another spot here where you got some guys back at offensive line, and the new guys on your offensive line, you seem to be really excited about. You talked about them last year. It's like, watch these guys coming up at our end of the year too.
Yeah, so Owen Norman is back at right tackle, and Luke Eller moved from left tackle to center. And so those are the 2 all-area linemen back. And then, there's essentially 3 new guys, Jaden McLeod at right guard, Connor Hudak at left guard, and then A.J. Moyer at left tackle, who's a sophomore. A.J. broke his foot at the beginning of last season as a freshman, which really kind of hampered him going along in terms of the mental part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He came out of the gate and kind of came up short with that injury, and that really impacted the mental part of his game more than the physical. By the end of the year, we got him on the field, not as much as we would have liked, but guys were really established on the offensive line, and more so than any other position in football, the offensive line needs to be a cohesive unit.
Oh, yeah.
So we felt at that point in the year, we had some seniors there that had done a nice job, and we weren't going to take time away from them. But he would have, had he been healthy at the beginning of the year, he would have challenged to be a starter last year as a freshman.
Yeah, so we talk about that offensive line going to protect your guy out there, but same deal here. You got skill guys back here. You got some wide receivers back. You got your freshman, now sophomore tight end, which is we've missed in this offense throughout the years, that kind of that tight end guy, and I'm sure he's going to be a big part of what you're trying to accomplish too.
Yeah, so obviously Mason Scott and Bilal Abdurrahman are back at wide receiver. Depending on which list you looked at, they were both all league. And Jordan Marsilio is someone that we really liked as a sophomore last year that's really stepped up. And then Tyler Moyer is another receiver that'll get a lot of time, along with Max Stadler and Dustin Flynn. Those guys mixed in. And there's actually some sophomores pushing those seniors as well.
Yeah.
Blake Turner, if you remember that last name, Cole, is now playing at Bloomsburg. His younger brother is kind of in that mix. And then you talked about tight end. We have a tight end that is going to be there for the next 3 years in Ryan. And the other thing is, you said, it's been missing a little element from our offense for some time, which, yes and no. But now we have, we're kind of rich at that area. So there's some guys that are really pushing, including Declan Finney, who's a junior, Ian Patika, who's a junior, Brett Schultz, who's a sophomore. We like all those guys, and it's going to allow us to really utilize multiple tight end sets this year, which is something we like to do.
And it sounds like you're going kind of the way of the NFL, a little bit running back by committee. You're going to see a little bit of everybody, maybe a first and second down guy, third down guy, stuff like that too.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Bendowski obviously is the captain of our defense. And so, he's going to play running back, but he's going to need help there. And a junior Jamal Lewis, who had a touchdown in the scrimmage, you'll see in a little bit. Also, Sean Hassis is a running back for us, who's a junior. And then also Brady Welsh. Brady Welsh had a long touchdown run in the scrimmage. So, again, some of those guys are going to be playing defense as well, or at least in the mix. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, we always like to, if we have multiple running backs, keeping them fresh is always probably best practice.
Yeah, well, just what the big wigs are doing in the NFL, they got all these running backs here. You guys doing the same thing. So you guys we had Heat Acclimation Week, and then at the end of that first full week, essentially, with the pads, you already have a scrimmage under your belt here too. So, there's not a lot of goof around time, I would say, here before it gets really real.
No, there's not. And the tough thing about only having one scrimmage for us and for everybody really, but is special teams.
Yeah.
Because, we're going to go into game one on Friday night not having run one live special team, and that's really scary, especially when you're working in some sophomores that have ability, but you haven't really seen them that much in live situations. So I wish there was. I know there's answers. I don't know if the PIAA is looking at.
So
them,
you're not you were hey, let's try some kickoffs, or there's no kickoffs, no
Nah, I mean, no one wants to do that in a scrimmage.
Okay.
It's just I mean, we did them, but we didn't. It wasn't
You've done
live.
it within your own little your practices.
And again, it's not live. We're not running down and
going crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. With that being said, let's take a look at the offensive highlights from the scrimmage with Bayard Rustin.
So here, freshman quarterback who bobbled the ball a little bit, but this is Brady Welsh taking it down the sidelines for a touch. I think he gets in. Yeah, he gets in for a long touchdown. So there's, that's a scrimmage touchdown, right?
Yeah,
that's a true scrimmage touchdown. All right, here's a little bootleg out to Ryan Kirchner, who gets down the field, and that's a tough dude to bring down. He's agile enough to make that first guy miss, and that takes 2-3 more guys. Here's another situation of a scrimmage. Again,
snap,
a bobbled
not great.
snap, and but Matt has the ability to improvise and score on that.
And you're okay with him running in the scrimmage?
Well, we had a quick whistle on.
Okay, all right.
So this is Jamal Lewis running inside zone for about 45 yards for a touchdown. And this is Jordan Marsilio catching a ball in a seam there and getting out past midfield. And so, those are the things, one of the things that we always have tried to do is we try to make people cover us sideline to sideline and have a deep threat. We have guys at different levels and different abilities, different skill sets. And I think we can really make people, defensively pull their hair out with how we're going to make them defend the field.
All right, Coach, good stuff. Rocking and rolling here early, man.
go.
Just right in the business.
Right
I love
into it. Right into it.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back with talking the defense and what's new for Springford football this year.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with head coach Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, before we talk defense, we kind of talk about what's going on, what's happening. I know we got some new things you want to share about, things we'll see from the 2023 team and like the overall night, the atmosphere, all of those things that kind of go into what's going on.
Yeah, so first thing at home games, you know, we have had our arch for a number of years now and felt like it was time to upgrade. And Jason Owens from Patriot Chevrolet, you know, I went to talk to him about, you know, what we can do. And Jason is a hit it out of the park type guy.
Yep.
You're going to look on Friday home games. You're going to see a Patriot Chevrolet truck there, so check that out.
Okay.
But, you know, he said, let's go for it. And he sponsored our new tunnel for the game. So,
okay, so you want to see, you got to make the trip out.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Okay.
So, bigger, better, you know.
Louder, you name it.
Shoot for the stars.
Okay.
And so when we come on the field, there's going to be a new inflatable that is can't miss stuff.
Okay.
Also, we're trying to get the student section. You know, we have a great student section, but I feel, you know, I've talked to Mr. Miscavige about, like, I feel like the sound goes right over their heads. We're talking in the future about, you know, maybe a better sound system. But we want to get the student section involved in different ways. So the one thing we did, you know how the Raiders fans put those shoulder pads and they deck them out.
The spikes and stuff like that, yeah.
So 5 seniors every game are going to have the opportunity to wear custom Springford blue and gold shoulder pads with spikes on them. All they have to do is follow us on social media, follow SF Gameware. And SF Gameware, they have to like and share, and then we'll have random numbers chosen that those 5 seniors get to be in the front row all next to each other wearing those shoulder pads. So not a bad deal, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Hopefully
right there.
They go all out with they can't wear masks,
but they can paint
but
blue
they
and
can
gold.
Go,
Yeah, they
you
can
know,
do some
eye
things.
black and you know.
Yeah, go crazy. Maybe bring
Mohawk,
like the
Mohawk
Chucky doll,
rings,
that sort of thing, like
that
they use in
kind of
there as
thing.
well then too. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And then the other thing we're doing, the Touchdown Club is going to sponsor prizes for students' attendance. So, you know, in the past, we always get great crowds at home games, but away games, it's
Less.
been lacking. And you know, like last year, Governor Mifflin's only 40 minutes away, not a whole lot of people there. So what we're trying to do is encourage students to attend every game. So we're going to get prizes. We're going to get AirPods. We're going to get a PS5. We're going to get Wawa gift cards.
What if I go on these away trips?
You are not eligible.
All right.
Wawa gift cards. We're going to get a football experience. We're going to give them a football experience. We're going to give them a sideline pass to a playoff game. So 2 students, a student and a friend, can be on a sideline for a game. So we're going to do that stuff. Now, here's how you win that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, at home, you buy a ticket spigot in your name. Okay, so we get all that list. We know everybody that attended. You'll get 1 entry in the drawing at the end of the year for those things. If you attend an away game, you'll get 5 entries. So if you attend the first 2 games, home against Governor Mifflin, away at Ocean City, you'll get six entries in that drawing. Now, how will you get that, you ask? How will we get that information? So there will be a QR code at the away games. And that QR code, there's going to be a prop. All right? So students scan the QR code, enter their first and last name, take a selfie with the prop, and upload it. Boom, they automatically get 5 entries. So It should be exciting, but there's some great prizes. We want the student section to be there and be loud. We have some new videos for the scoreboard. We have a special guest appearance this year at all home games by Bruce Buffer from UFC.
The brother
of Michael Buffer.
Yep.
We have a lot of different things for the video scoreboard for students to get involved. And, actually we got the fight song with the lyrics up there because sometimes students don't know the lyrics or they forget them. So we want the band to be playing the fight song and the student section to be singing along with the band. And we have a video prepared for them.
Everybody's going at the same time. The video board and the band and the
band,
kids,
it's
all three.
all synchronized.
Oh, wow.
All
Okay.
synchronized.
That looks like it's got some planning involved with it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't easy.
All right. Now, you talked about it a little bit. This is a year where I know we got the inflatable for the home games, but the Rams are going to log some miles on the road a little bit this year, too. There's going to be some road trips. So the kids, if you're making those away trips, you're going to log some miles on the cars a little bit out there.
That's fine. You get some prizes.
You get some prizes about it. Yeah. The gas is free. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But so
gas cards. We might have gas cards.
That's a good one. So I guess the reason is what I'm asking here, and it's also your year where in your 5 packed division games, 3 of those are on the road too. So it's really kind of I don't want to say worst case scenario, but it's basically the lowest amount of home games.
The problem was this. We could not find a week 2, and the only real option. It's hard right now. It's harder. You can find games but it's the game that you want is harder to find, right?
Yeah.
So Father Judge always plays down at Ocean City. They're a 6A school, and they said, you want to come down to Ocean City. I know the parents and players are going to like that. As coaches, not as good. We got to prep all this stuff. It's on a Saturday at 4 o'clock.
That's a change day at the beach too. It's going to be a thing, I would say.
I mean, it's going to be cool. It'll be cool,
yes.
But it's cool for one time.
Yeah.
As far as
you're concerned. Okay, just making sure. Yeah.
Because then we go, the following week. So we're playing on
to
Saturday.
Cumberland Valley.
Then we're going to Cumberland Valley.
Then you're going to you're going to Manheim.
Yeah.
So you're going to log some miles a little bit early in this season.
Yeah. Hopefully we play well enough this year that we have some home playoff games.
Okay.
And that'll even it out.
All right, Coach. So we got the stuff that's new there. Let's talk defense here a little bit here too. So once again, this defense showed up big for you guys a little bit down the stretch a little bit. I know the Garnet game got a lot out of score with a lot of score and that sort of thing, but that second half in the Ridley game, some of those pack games down the stretch did a really good job for you. But same deal, you're losing some big pieces on the defensive end too.
We are. So we have one returning starter on the defensive line. It's Evan Stramansky. And, I mean, Evan's an all-league player. So, we feel really good about that. Who else? Right now, going to game 1, there's going to be like a rotation at that other tackle position. Luke Eller, Connor Hudak, A.J. Moyer, Bryce Roberts.
They're going to play some both ways, these line guys, sounds like.
Well, a little.
Yeah.
A little. Because, what Mifflin does, and we'll talk about this later, it's really important that we have disciplined guys in there. And then defensive ends, Ryan Kirchner, Owen Norman, Giassi Romu. There's some other guys in that mix that will rotate at defensive end. Mm-hmm. So we are big believers, again, just like you said, the NFL, we got to rotate those defensive line guys.
Yeah.
They have, arguably the toughest job outside of quarterback in football in terms of, taxing. So we'll rotate those guys. Now, Mike Bendowski's back at middle linebacker, and Mike has been an all-league player since he came up as a freshman, and we're really excited about him. He can run. He's 225 pounds right now. He's strong, and we feel really excited about him. Nick Garzarella has really solidified himself at one of the linebacker spots, and then Luke Hall, Brady Welsh are still kind of, they'll rotate a little bit at the other linebacker spot. So,
and then you got Bilal back in the defensive backfield, but you're going to have to fill some holes there too a little bit too, especially corner. Yeah.
Shane Lewis is back at corner. He was again an all-league player. Bilal was an all-league player, and then right now it looks like the other corner will be Zach Stead, although Dustin Flynn has been pushing him and has played well. And the other safety will probably be definitely in game 1 will be Anthony Early. But Sean Hassis will work in there. We have some guys. Another corner is Blake Turner. So We have some guys, and we like what they're doing so far, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, once again, it's one thing to like at practice, but who's ready to go Friday nights when the
it's a whole
lights
different
are
thing.
bright, that sort of thing too.
Concentrating for 48 minutes is different than 10 minutes in a skelly period in practice.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at spring forward defense from the scrimmage.
All right, so it's too small and our numbers are not bright enough that I'm going to be able to figure this out. But this is pretty much a team defense type thing right there. All right, we're on the right. We're in the grays. We have a gray,
white helmets.
Yeah, we're grays. This was a sack. Obviously, we protected the quarterback there. They blew the whistle.
And this is a good scrimmage for you because a lot of the stuff Rustin's going to do, you're going to see same sort of thing, concepts from Governor Mifflin as well.
Correct, exactly.
Sometimes this scrimmage isn't great for you because you don't play somebody that really does a lot of this, but this year it worked out well.
There's Shane Lewis coming up and breaking up a pass play, doing a nice job. And this was pretty much the whole defensive line making a play there. That was actually a fumble, which is why I put that on there. Here's the whole defensive line getting in on a play. That's Anthony Early doing a great job of stringing that out, and then Nick Garzarella, pursuing and making a play.
All right, Coach. Well, now, like we said here, it's go time.
It's go time.
We're one night away here from the action at Coach McNally, so they got to stick around, all right?
Yeah, we're going to preview it.
All right, make sure you stick through this commercial break, and we'll preview the game with Governor Mifflin.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Patriot Chevrolet. I'm your host, John Brennan, with head coach Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach here, District 3 opponent coming into town, Governor Mifflin. Storied program, does really good things out in the District 3 land. Those that are big Penn State followers that will also see an alumni Governor Mifflin this year, running back that
Nick Singleton.
Yeah, one of those, that dual-headed monster they're going to have in the backfield up there at Happy Valley this year is a Governor Mifflin project, that sort of thing. Guys played them last year, found a way to win up that way. Now they're going to make the trip down here to Rofo for Friday night. And like you said here, they're going to run that
midline veer.
Yep.
Wing tee.
Boyertown. We've seen it from Boyertown in the past. You saw it from Rustin. And like you said, it needs discipline from your defense.
Yeah, it really does. And this is not meant as a cut, but sometimes their offense can be like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like 2 yards, and then you kind of lose your concentration, 60 yards.
Yep.
So you really have to maintain focus, and our defensive line and linebackers especially have a huge task, and that's mentally as much as physically.
Okay.
So they really have to concentrate on what their jobs are, and sometimes we're switching their jobs up, so they're, play to play, they've really got to know what they're doing.
And they're gonna be tough. They're gonna run downhill. They're gonna get after you guys.
Yeah, their line comes off so low and hard, and they're pretty much taught if they don't hit anybody, just don't stop, just keep going and hit the safety. So they are very downhill. It is next to impossible to replicate it at practice. Just the speed of it and the quickness of it and the precision of it is next to impossible to replicate at practice. So, hopefully we did a good enough job that our kids are ready.
And this is one of those things, and a little bit going back to last year in the Garnet Valley game, your defensive backfield, the safeties and corners have to get involved. If they're going to be timid and wait for the play to come to them, that's when bad things, and they're going to get going downhill too.
Well, they have to get involved, but they also have to have an eye to, the 5 or 6 play action passes that they throw
have,
you can't be wide open, so it's tough. They present a lot of problems for every level.
All right, let's take a look at Governor Mifflin on offense. There's scrimmage in the Grove here, right?
Yeah, Pottsgrove, this is last Saturday. So you're going to see motion like that, but right there, the defensive end does an okay job, but guess what? 4 yards.
Yep.
Is not good enough. Like, we cannot allow 4 yards on first down like that. Again, going in motion, this is the other way, and this kid breaks through, cuts back, and he's down the sideline. So again, he's untouched. Our defensive ends need to crash that gap that the tackles create by blocking down.
And it looks like they have
run jet.
And they have patience at the line too, you know what I mean? It's not like, like you got to be disciplined, offsides, got to pay attention to the simple things,
So they run jet, then they run trap back behind jet, which is really difficult for the linebackers. All right, and here they just walk into the end zone. That defensive end doesn't close that hole quickly enough. That's how quick they are. So we've really tried to emphasize that in practice, but until you see it on Friday night, it's going to be very difficult. Our kids aren't going to realize the speed with which they need to move.
Yeah. All right, what are you going to see from them? Now, once again, it's from the past. Like you saw them last year. Well, what are you seeing from Governor Mifflin so far?
So last year in our game, they were more of a 4-4 team, and now for whatever reason, and we prep for all defenses all summer. So, but they were more of a 4-3 against Pottsgrove. Now maybe because Pottsgrove had 2 backs in the backfield and a tight end, but even when they were spread out, Pottsgrove, they still were a 4-3 team. Play a lot of man coverage, play a lot of man concept coverage, even if they're kind of more zone-ish. Yeah, and their linebackers play at like 3 yards and they're downhill. So there's opportunities to make big plays if you can get past the linebackers, but they try to clog up they try to really clog up the box.
All right, let's see Governor Mifflin on defense.
So Pottsgrove's in maroon here. There you see the 4-3, that linebacker right in the middle, and
nothing going there for the.
Their defensive tackles are big kids. You can see on film right there. So you can see man coverage with the wide receivers on both sides. They try to run outside zone here, and Mifflin just runs it down. Again, see that middle linebacker right in the middle of the field, and then man coverage on the side, man coverage with the wide receivers. Now they're even spread, but they're still doing that. Pottsgrove tries to run, and the defensive tackles are not allowing anybody up the middle. Again, spread set. They do like to blitz. You see the middle linebacker coming there, makes the quarterback get rid of it. They throw it to the flare, and the other linebacker's in coverage and makes a play. So, we try to schedule good teams, and when you do that, it's tough out of the gate.
Yeah, and
it's tough.
Their staff's going to know what to do. They're going to be prepped. Like it's going to be, come on out Friday night. Let's watch. Come on out.
It's going to be a good game. Now it's youth night.
Youth night
it's
too.
It's youth night early because of that. You mentioned earlier only 4 home games in the schedule. So youth night is right out of the gate. We're fired up to see our youth program. I went to practice the one night, and those guys are doing some great things down there. So.
All right, Coach. Well, good stuff here. 14th season off and running here.
14th season.
Love to maybe we'll talk to Miss Crew and talk about how many people have watched an episode. Maybe get on the Instagram, the polls. Is that a...
Yeah.
You can do that?
You can do a poll on Twitter. You can do a poll on
See if we can get that information out there.
Yeah.
Best luck to you in the Crew Friday
Thank you.
night. Make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Governor Mifflin and preview the Ocean City trip against Father Judge. For the head coach, Chad Brubaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on The Gridiron.